knew this too shall pass, that storm, electricity, you name it. We are here. We are grateful that each and every one of you are here, whether you're in person, on Facebook, or Zoom. Welcome to the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living. And we are divided. You have chosen us for your spiritual enrichment today. We are continuing our December series, and I'm back, and I love bringing this to you all because sticking the landing is our theme, and we've been talking about it using a gymnastics sort of example. And today we're talking about flowing ground, a passage to its radiant beams. And there's a lot to this title that I'll unpack with you. And what I like to do, and what I'm called to do too, is give examples of how I'm using this flow in my life. There's a lot of wonderful passages and quotes I'm going to give you from uh, Ernest Holmes, Emerson, and then we'll talk about how you can use these tools every day to be in the flow. And I know you've heard that one constantly. Be in the flow. So, our opening quote today is by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And he says, permanence, okay, is but a word of degrees. Okay. Our globe, seen by God, is a transparent law, not a mess or not a mass of facts. Listen to me, I said mess already. The law dissolves these facts and it holds it fluid, which means those facts are flowing all the time. So today we ask, what are solid facts? What are solid facts in my life? And that we want to make more fluid or understand why they're fluid. And I want to align those, and you too, with a higher good. And we talk about this all the time, replacing the negative with the positive. So, Ernest Holmes, let's go there. From Science of Mind textbook, page 53.3. So, again, for all of you taking notes, I am dealing with the subtle power of mind and spirit. We are dealing with a fluid force. It is forever taking form and forever deserting the form which it has taken. And I just want to add here, and for those of you who've taken foundation and those of you remember this or want to take it, we talked about the flow, and it's almost like a point or upside down cone. So that flow and thoughts are always going through the process, and it changes and it manifests at the bottom. So we've been learning about this and talking about this. I know all my spiritual journey through Science of Mind, and that's kind of where this is going today. So, but what about our everyday folks? You and me, professionals. I know I might be Reverend Tony and a practitioner, but we are committed to this practice of this philosophy, and everybody is a practitioner. So when we talk about the flow and sticking the landing, sometimes we're thinking about professionals, professional sports figures, teams, that are practicing every day to be at a higher vibration and a flow to achieve whatever their goals are. So what can we humans do, right? What is the self-talk that I can tell myself to make sure I'm in the flow? So today we're going to talk about that and the flow, get the flow in your lives. Okay? Everyone raise their hand. I can see you. Okay. So this monthly theme, okay, and we talk about gymnastics, okay? And we talk about the end of the performance, right? So after the spins and the twirls and the twist, the gymnast must land on their feet upright. The closer you are to standing in that spot or sticking the landing, as they say, the higher your score is. You've done all the work up in the air, all that energy of twisting and turning, right? So, at the end of the year, and this year, right, we've explored all the grand risings, everything that is getting us to stick that landing, right? We land on our feet. We're grounded in timeless principles, right? So again, let's recap. Here's what's open to all of us. We are using these examples, and I'm going to give you elements first. Air, fire, water, earth, light. You saw, those of you in the Monterey area saw that last night as that energy of the weather. It comes and it goes. It doesn't stay. It might stay for a few hours, but this too shall pass. That's again, I'm using that quote. Those are the elements, examples that we are using or we can use every day. And the flow of consciousness. And this is what we learn and what we teach here. Thought, feelings, form, wisdom, spirit, right? So we're going to wrap up this year and we're preparing ourselves uh, for next year. And we're using these tools and we're going to figure out how to continuously use them in our lives. So everyone, listen to me right now, my voice. Touch that thing called a chair that you're sitting on or standing on or whatever. Guess what? This is Science 101. And for those of you who remember, we talked about atoms and molecules and putting things together. Guess what? That chair is not solid. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. We are in a world that is moving and flowing. Our Earth is not solid. It spins right, right. We go on an axis, but it is a movement. It is a continuously flowing thing, and that's everything in our lives. So Holmes reminds us that the world, is as solid as we think about it. And he talks about dealing with a fluid force. Okay, so we can learn to flow with liquid law, and that's what we're going to talk about today, and not be stopped by appearances of anything solid that's in our way. It takes a shift of consciousness, grounding in spiritual truths, and look those solid facts in the eye and say, you are not so real. Get out of here, after all. One tool I use, and I want you to take this away, is I say, that's not my truth. When those thoughts come up, or I'm in a situation where it doesn't, no, 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 we're not, we're not doing that. I say, that's not my truth. So, just as we come to understand that thoughts are things, right? We talk about manifestation things, and those are examples. And again, these are experiences. As we manifest these thoughts and things, that gives us the tools. Like it's our spiritual muscle. Like, I'm good at this. I can do that, right? So, we become aware that these things are thoughts and forms, right? So here's the thing. I heard loud and clear when I first walked into a center. Change your mind, change your thoughts, change the things around you, change your life. So the science of mind point of view that I'm going to talk about now, and this is those spiritual truths, those principles that I say them every week, or as I was going on my spiritual journey. And a lot of us practice this and say it. So here's the one that I'm going to bring up. We believe in the healing of the sick through the power of this mind. We believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind. And that's come from, or one of the principles from the science, living the science of mind, page 84. So whether it's a personal misalignment in your life, within our individual body, the world's body, because we see all those things manifest, the infinite presence, right, is greater than any of the appearances. We tap into that infinite presence by making ourselves available to it, right? We talk about that. And guess what tools we use to make ourselves available for it? Meditation, visioning, spiritual mind treatments, prayers. I'm going back to the old church, and I'm going to add affirmations. Those are your tools to get you into the thoughts and the process of flowing those solid misunderstandings or and I said this last week, there's nothing to be healed, but the truth to be revealed. So first example I'm going to give you is this is about any geologist, right? Or quantum physicist. I'm not even going to go there. Love that. Love quantum physics. But we'll tell you that the ground, these folks, these are professionals, scholars, and they'll tell you that the ground is not solid, right? As you think it is. And if you live for y'all in that earthquake zones, and I'm living in one down here in Palm Springs, you have a direct experience of it, right? You felt that shift of the ground, and it's moving, and that's where these earthquakes come from. The same is true of the ground of appearances that seem so solid, so big to you, so upsetting. And again, there's this old saying, an excuse, really? That's just the way it is, right? We sign up to it and like, oh, I can't do anything about it. Well, some things will never change, right? That's what they say about that. But everything changes. I'm just going there, individually and collectively. We might not feel it right now, okay? And it looks like, oh my God, where are we at? Where are we going? This too shall pass, just like that storm. It's gone to flow past us, right? So we can break free of old paradigms, old structures, and create something new and more harmonious with the nature of life. Ernest Holmes reminds us when we clear the consciousness, right? That is the whole mental life, both consciousness and subjective, of discord, right? We are whole mental life and both consciousness and subjectus. I'm sorry, I'm repeating that. We are automatically healed, right? So what I just said, there's nothing to be healed, but the truth to be revealed. So that's where that healing comes from. So this is again the Living the Science of Mind textbook, page 99. Healing comes from spiritual realization, whether the healing is of an individual body or a global body, right? It does no good to fight with appearances, right? We don't want to fight with those solid things. What you simply do is affirm your belief in the reality that you add no power to it and it changes. It moves, it flows out of your life. So, secondly, and this is an example, Buckminster Fuller said, you'll never change things by fighting and existing in that reality. And that's sort of what I just said. To change something, right? Build a new model that makes it the existing model absolute. Build that new life, build that new mind, build that new house, build that new car. Let it shift and let it flow out of your life and replace it with a new model, a new vision, a new love, a new light, a new volume, a new energy. Okay? When we stop fighting the existing conditions, whether our own or the world, that shift, it shifts for us. Okay? It moves that intelligence or that we shift and bring it and know the truth that it's intelligence of spirit that we're working with. Visioning is a great way of listening within this question. We talk about this from the beginning of all of our trainings. Vision. Sometimes it's hard to have that vision of what the truth is or what you want. The example that I'll talk about in my life, and don't judge me. I'm a James Bond fan. Okay, I've been watching that since I was a kid. I go out of my backyard and I have my gadgets and I shoot my dog, or I would pretend that the dog is a villain. But what I also believed, and all the exotic places that James Bond would go around the world, and Hong Kong, Paris, South America, anywhere. He's always somewhere. It's sexy, it's great, it's wonderful. I knew in my heart, in my vision, I was going to be in one of those places. Okay, there was just something about it. I might not be a superhero or a secret agent, but I knew I'm going to see and I'm going to be in those places. The first time I was in Paris, I had a deja vu. Oh my God, I knew I was going to be here. I'm standing there next to the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre. Hong Kong. When I came across the bridge and I saw that Hong Kong harbor with all the lights and over the water that's right there, and I used to see that in James Bond. I knew that I was going to be there. So it's that vision and that flow. And yeah, I went from my backyard to Paris, but I also manifested it. And I had that vision, and those were the movies that gave me that vision. And I watch James Bond every time it's on. So, Ernest Holmes invites us to be a people who are for something against nothing. Emma Curtis Hopkins talks about using the idea of denials, which I love this, saying no to what you don't want. All right. And I talked about that as a tip to leave that I'm leaving with you. That's not my truth. Let's just say no. No, I'm not having that. That's not it. And this goes back to I think Reverend Robert uses it, and those from the old church, we talk about this all the time. The practitioner who would sit there and go, "Tain't so." So if you don't know what tain't so is, ask somebody. But again, that's that positive thoughts that you are releasing and not dealing with it and not having it. So let's start to build a new model in our lives, right? The solidness just is not your truth, and you just want to kick it in the pants and get it out of your life. Um, so solid things, and I'm going to use this story, what happened to me yesterday. So I went to lunch with a bunch of people. I've been having, challenges this whole year and a half, and I started, people hadn't seen me. So I was feeling better yesterday, and the restaurant was in a open airy place, so I knew I was safe from colds and things that are not my truth, right? So all of a sudden, I'm talking about, my situation and my defibrillator and, my heart issues. And, when you start talking about it, people join in. It wasn't about me anymore. It was about everybody and their stuff. I had to remind myself, stop talking about this. This is not the conversation I want to have. No, 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 no. It's not a negative. I'm not that anymore. I'm not, this is for my highest and best good. So I consciously decided, okay, wait a minute, wait. This is not my truth. This is not who I am. This is not going to hold me down. This is, not the vision that I have for myself. So I quickly changed the subject and we started talking about tennis. But again, anytime you're in a situation like that and the flow of the conversation, right? And it was juicy and everybody wanted to join in because it was something familiar to them. It was something solid to them. I changed it for me and I changed it for everybody at the table. No, we're not having that. So again, that's what you can do in your life with this stuff. And I'm using this as an example of whatever the situation is. And you can be someplace and somebody will start to talk about whatever they think you're going through and the story just goes on and you buy into that sometimes. Oh yeah, and this goes back to friends who call you up and want to complain about things. I don't have those conversations anymore. I want to hear positive stuff. I've lost a lot of friends because of that, because I'm not the one you call me up and complain about it. I'm like, so what do you want? What's the truth? That's the conversation that you have with yourself. So your call to action today. We like to say thoughts are creative, right? But do we really believe it? Right? You feel that sometimes like, oh, I'm in it. I don't understand. How am I going to ever get to that other side? And how far will we take the idea that we don't believe it, right? The seeming solidness of what's going on in your personal lives and the conditions of the world, we are calling for a new consciousness, a new change in our lives. And that's that flow and that's that energy that we are talking about this month. And we are going to lift ourselves out of those old beliefs, right? And the solid issues of the things we've created, right? We've created some of them in our head and we bought into it, right? So we are teaching the symbol of creating differences. And I go back to what I told you I heard when I first walked into a center. Change your mind, change your thinking, change your life. That's exactly how we're going to ride out of here, and we're going to change it. So, a couple supporting quotes from a few Science of Mind and New Thought from New Thought literature. Um, a practitioner of this science, I'm talking about what we know, should not be confused with any given form, right? We should know that any form which is not of the original harmony is subject to change. And that comes from Ernest Holmes. And again, the Science of Mind, page 53.3. We are looking for the truth. So as we treat with you, we treat for ourselves. We are changing whatever that situation or that negative thought in your life, we are replacing it with those spiritual truths of change. So here's the next one. If we seek to combat evil, we should be careful that we do not make the evil real. Oh, and this is a whole talk about evil. There is a place in the mind which intuitively knows that good overcomes evil, and there's a place which knows there's no evil to overcome, right? No. Our argument then is between the experience of evil and a solid conviction that good is the only reality. Okay? The devil is a lie, right? Come on, you old church folks, raise your hand. That's kind of how you say it. The devil is a lie. Those thoughts and that evil, and I had this conversation with a cousin who found a new church to go to, and then they start talking about the devil. And again, what I remember from my lessons is that sometimes the devil, we can't take on the responsibility of that this is happening to us, or we had some buy-in to what's going on in our life. So it's easier to push it on, and the devil did it. Okay, but that is an example of how I believe that's how that devil is used. But again, I go back to what I say. I told you I said in the earlier of this talk that ain't my truth. Okay, remove that from yourself. Um, so the last one I wanted to tell you with, and this is from Ernest Holmes, The Sermon by the Sea. Find one person who is for something and against nothing, who is redeemed enough not to condemn others out of the burden of their soul, and I will find another Savior, another Jesus, and an exalted human being. Right? What are we all doing here? All y'all folks here that I see on the top in Zoom and Facebook and sitting in the sanctuary. You came through a storm last night, but you are here. You are consciously wanting to be with like-minded folks to change whatever is not serving you in your life, right? So you are the Christ consciousness. And this is that season that we really, really, really are reminded that we in Science of Mind are truly, truly living that Christ consciousness. So the last one, and I love this one, and it's by Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed individuals can change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has. And it's small groups of folks. They are pioneers. We talk about people who go and start something new. Again, no, doing something in love and positives, not something evil, or I shouldn't say evil, something negative, because we don't ever want to do that. We want to bring the positive in our life. Um, so lastly, a practical vision or a practical example I want to talk to you about is come together and vision a new model for a larger area in your life. Okay, so this is you I'm talking about. Your center's community, your life, your center. There's a lot of things that go on to your life, right? and I'll start with going in my closet to get something to wear. Right? Something that easy. You change and you change and change. You put on something, you're like, oh, I feel good. I feel flow. I feel it happening. There are so many parts of the community in your life. So start to look at those things. Look things around you, look at the people around you that can build that flow of goodness and greatness in your community that is in your soul and your life. So I want to end this talk by reminding you, me today, to stand in the radiant light and let the flow of spirit wash over you. Okay, that comes from a old hymn. Let God wash over you, wash the negative away. But you have to be ready to stand in that flow. Jump in that pool, jump in that fountain, whatever it is, let that flow of God wash over you. And so it is. Whew. Ooh, I got goosebumps. So, right here, right now, I'm gonna then take this uh, or give this treatment and really, really um, hmm, remind myself of the flow in my life. And that flow starts with recognizing the one spirit, the one love, the one light, that higher power that is greater than anything we can drum up, right? We all come together in this philosophy, recognizing that there is somehow a power that is truly a blessing in our lives. And we are one with that power. We are connected to that power. That same for me is the same for each and every one of you at the sound of my voice, who can see me, who can't see me, whatever it is, that power is available to you right here, right now. So as I, Reverend Tony Bradford, speaks my word and just align my life, my body, my soul, my mind with that flow of energy that comes through that spirit that dwells within me. I got the spirit, I got the fire. You see that sometimes with folks. They're jumping and they're joyful, they're happy. And also there's people who just sit in a quiet knowingness, a quiet time in their lives. They don't have to jump up and down because they know. They know the truth, they know who they are, and they are great and good. And if anything is not serving you and me, shift it, move it, flow it out of there. Get in that flow of energy and love and light. Michelle just told us, and the Reverend Melissa and Reverend Z was there, all those spiritual folks together to give us that song of love and light. That just made me feel good. It reminded me as I sat as a baby, a baby science minder, and Queen Michelle was right in front of me, giving me that lifting, giving me that love from music. That music was something that flowed through me and filled me up. That same truth for you is the same for every one of all of us that's right here in this center, this Zoom and this Facebook. It is a flow of love and energy that is right here, right now. And I'm shifting and I am thankful for this movement of life and love that I am moving in and creating a new life. So I'm giving thanks and knowledge and acknowledging, excuse me, about all those that went through something that wasn't serving them, a storm. The same thing as a storm in your life, as people make their transition, as things are coming to an end for this year. Again, the good, the good, and the very good is available to us to lift and love and share that within our community and our life. So I'm grateful and thankful for this opportunity today to speak my word and know that the truth that Reverend Robert is whole, perfect, and complete and doing exactly what he needs to do. Spirit has already set him up, and we are grateful for that. So I am releasing this word and this treatment and this talk to the activity of the love and law, letting go, letting God, letting that flow come all the way down and manifest in my life today. And please help me seal this by saying, Amen. I want to hear it.
Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
And so it is.
And so it
Whew.
is. Woo! Thank you, Reverend Tony, for the word. He can't see you because he's in Zoom, but if you'd like to put your hands together for Reverend Tony for bringing that word for us today. Reverend Tony is not a visitor. He's Cousin Tony. He is a staff
That's cat.
minister, part of our team here at the Centers for Spiritual Living, and we love him and we thank him so much for that word.
Thank you.
Let's say together our weekly affirmation, which will be on the screen. It says, I swim in the flow of consciousness, sowing good wherever I go. And let's solidify that by saying it together once more. I swim in the flow of consciousness, sowing good wherever I go. I love that. There's also a flow and circulation in our abundance and our monetary physicality of that prosperity. So let's say our affirmation of abundance together. I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. That's right. And I don't know if we have a basket to pass today, but we will have someone. Thank you, Amy. Amy will stop by and collect any donations that we have at the center here. And then on the screen for our people online, you can also give and participate in the flow of circulation. You can send money by mail, checks only in the mail. I don't think it's allowed to send cash in the mail. You can also text. That's my favorite way to give. You can text the word give to 831-246-9694. The instructions will give you information on how to make your donation that way. And then in the future, when you want to give, all you have to do is pull up that phone number and type in a number of how much you want to give, and it just comes of whatever account you set up. And that's my favorite way. Or you can donate online at montereycsl.org/donate. All of your gifts and donations are appreciated. And 10%, of whatever you give is going back into the community. So we gift that money back to an organization or some way that serves our community. There is a slide about our candle lighting service. And so we want to invite you next week on Sunday to join us for our candle lighting service. It's a celebration of hope, peace, joy, rebirth, love. And so we hope to see you there. And then before we leave from Facebook, we just want to have a special mention and a special shout out to our very own board member emeritus, Bobby Hall. We're celebrating a birthday. She is so much of a giver and in service that she made her own cake. So for those of us who are lucky to be in the center today, we will get to eat on the cake that she made in celebration of her. That's better way to celebrate. If you can't celebrate yourself, who else can? So we appreciate you, Bobby, and we love you. And finally, we'll cut off Facebook in a bit and do some more announcements towards the end. But I'd like to invite Denise Kaku to come forward and share an announcement with us and also say goodbye to our Facebook friends afterwards. Thank you, Denise.
So as you know, in the past, I've been the head elf that has organized the Santa Project every holiday season. And because it ended last year, we scouted around for a new outreach at Christmas time. So Toys for Tots, we selected, and it's the Monterey County Fire Prevention Agency who is gathering toys and donations in order to support Seneca, which is a former kinship center. These toys and donations are, assisting foster children in this holiday time. So know that this project ends today, or today in the next few weeks. Please give generously to help make a child's holiday special. And it's giving back to an agency that does good all year. And it's made my job easier because I don't have to go shopping. And with that, we want to say farewell to our virtual audience, Facebook and YouTube. We always appreciate you joining us, even if it isn't on Sunday. What's lovely is you can see it anytime.